Captain's Log Supplemental.
Hey, Jeremy, those race cars you're busy building?
Yeah, I do. I
You,
got one that I'm looking at every day.
you know what I don't see you working on?
You don't see me working on the amazing Sentinel system yet.
That's true. It would take all of 10 minutes for you to have one.
And it's very quick and easy to install.
It is. It is. And we could watch you when we are not at the race with you and see how you're doing. And then we can call you up when you get out of the car and tell you everything you did wrong.
And I love that because so many years I've been driving and not been able to see what I'm doing.
I know.
And now we can.
I know. You know what I'd like to do with the video? My most favorite thing is I take the video and I load it on YouTube, and then I send it to my coach and say, look at 26 minutes and 17 seconds. Look at this one lap and tell me what I can do better. And every single time, you know what they say?
Everything.
Exactly. Precisely. So with the Sentinel system, you get instantaneous feedback plus useful feedback that unfortunately is accurate for my driving.
I think it's accurate for all of our driving.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's probably true. Yep. But you need to get one in your car, sir.
Yes, I do. And with the discount code that you're going to tell everybody, they can save 10% on this awesome system.
Yep. Trouble-free. I haven't had an issue getting video every time we've gone out with the Sentinel. It's always worked. Can't say the same for some of the other systems we've tried. So I don't know. It's on the podcast notes down there. Don't do it while you're driving, though. We like to have our listeners live. It's good.
From the great halls of their house, there are assembled three who hope to one day be the world's greatest driving heroes. Created from the cosmic legends of the universe comes our team captain, the Vision, Bill Fisher, and their soon-to-be Wonder Woman, Vicki Fisher, and our Captain Marvel and head flight trainee, Jennifer Skripchuk. Their mission: to fight injustice, share what is right and wrong, to get you out of your house and come out racing with them and serve all mankind. They are the Garage Heroes in Training Team.
Welcome to the Garage Heroes in Training Podcast. I'm going to be one of the hosts for this episode. My name is Bill. We've got a bunch of guests today. Who else is hosting?
Yes, this is Vicki Fisher.
Okay, that's different, but okay.
I'm sorry. This is Vicki. Hello.
Right. We're off to an edited podcast already. It's fine. Who else are our guests, my dear?
Yeah, I know. We were going to say who else is hosting, but Audra is now a guest.
Audra's a guest.
Yep.
We're demoted after screwing up last night.
Okay.
we are doing a wrap up of their team for pit race. So we are doing,
or even better, why don't we do New Jersey?
New Jersey. It was just mentioned pit just a few moments ago.
Post race hangover is real.
Right, it really is still on post race hangover. So in our group, we had 4 teams that we paddocked with. We seem to be running with a pack of 4, and Audra is the third in our interview for the group that we had gone with.
Who else was on your team, Miss Audra?
Well, we have Max Mayo, Bill Aubin, our chewing crew, Larry Levin. I can't believe I just messed up your name. Larry Levin.
Him too.
We had 2 guest drivers, Laura and Doug.
Okay, hold on just one sec. Audra's volume is super low.
It is low.
Very, very low.
Oh, you know what? We're on the
Before we go any further.
It's not working, which it normally goes through. Now, let me see if I can.
There you go. That's perfect.
Okay, now it's going through the camera.
Huh.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome.
Okay, so Audra, tell us about your team.
So we have Bill Aubin and Max Mayo. Larry Levin is our chewing crew. And we had 2 guest drivers, Laura and Doug.
Laura and Doug.
Rookies.
I love the term chewing crew. I really do.
He made it
I
up
use
himself.
that.
He's very proud.
I
needed
tell you.
something, arrive and drive, Chew and Crew. We needed a cool name for the folks that are on the team and behind the scenes sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
Love it.
Someday we'll get back to doing this old car, but we're working on it.
I can't wait, to be honest. I would love to do more of this old car.
I know we just need to stop either messing up our cars or being busy doing other things, but we'll get there. Season 2 still coming. All righty. So we were at NJMP. You guys were in the traditional car that I mess up every single time. I know it's a BMW. I'm almost willing to say it's a 5 Series. I'm almost willing to say it's an E34.
Wow, you're getting better at this.
Getting better. It's only like 10 races in. I'm almost there. Hold on. Let's see. 1992.
Oh, you're
What?
so close.
91.
Oh, so close.
But
But
it's
everything
white.
else is right.
I knew it was white and a little bit
Yeah.
of blue.
There's huge improvement on that. So
I'm
that's
getting
good.
closer.
Yeah.
Getting closer. I didn't
It's
call it a
so
truck or
far.
anything. Yeah, I know. It's fine. Eventually I'll get it right and then you guys will change cars and I'll be screwed again. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So Max, you're kind of the car prep guru wizard. Any needs for the car going in? Anything after pit race that your car needed some loving?
Yeah. So the most substantial thing was it needed a head gasket.
Really?
Yeah.
You guys blew the head gasket?
Well, not
Or you
in a
just knew it
catastrophic.
needed it?
Yeah, it wasn't a catastrophic thing. It was just more of a slow creep kind of thing. And the cylinder 6, the area between cylinder 6 and the water jacket was compromised, so it was pushing combustion and compression into the cooling system. So it was over pressurizing it, and it was doing really weird things, like the level would go down, the level would go up. The level warning light was flashing at a practice day that we had done in preparation for New Jersey. And all kinds of testing and stuff, and it just came down to got to pull the head and look at the gasket, and that's what it turned out to be.
Ooh.
So yeah, put a new head gasket on it, and then that was the most substantial thing. Other than that, the front wheel bearings were replaced because one of them felt kind of funky, and so that seems to happen quite a bit with this car. Maybe they probably go through a set of fronts every season, something like that.
Okay.
At least so far, which they take up a lot of abuse, and we have spacers in the front too to allow the wheels to clear, and those certainly don't do the bearings any favors.
Longer leverage arm, right?
Right, exactly. And other than that, just basic kind of fluid changes and making sure we had enough tires, which we have plenty of. But making sure tires get flipped, so we have good practice tires, and then newer ones for race tires
Well, then
for the actual race.
you fabricated a bracket to put in a passenger seat.
Oh, right.
We couldn't use. Which
Yeah.
is unfortunate.
Yeah, that was too bad, but it'll get used eventually, so it's not a total waste.
Thompson
Well,
has
last
a really
year
good practice.
at Thompson test day, they didn't allow passengers.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
they did not allow it. So we were
It changes
last year
every
Jersey
track
did,
meet.
so we were hoping we could do it this year, but then this year they didn't. So
It seems to be track manager dependent, and apparently the
Yeah.
track manager changes every year at every race we go to. So it's always like, do we bother? Do we not?
yeah, I guess it's one of those things where we can bring it and then use it if we can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll get there. All right, Miss Vicki.
Yeah. So, your impressions of the track. Did you guys do a track walk at all?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you guys have been here a couple times before. What were your impressions of the track, and what changes did you see?
So first of all, the surface was so much better. I mean, there was a lot of grip on that surface. It was
Yeah.
great. I really did like the change into turn 1. Having it much wider was you could carry a lot more speed in there.
Mhm.
Where was it, like 3 to 4? Where was the bump? There used to be a bump.
There's a bump coming out of chicane 3.
Okay, and that was gone. I don't remember feeling it this time.
Mhm.
What about
So
the
the
Audra
other-
turn?
That turn bit me again, Bill.
Did it?
Oh,
Yeah.
Audra.
Did it?
Oh, but it wasn't my fault. Like,
It's never your fault, Audra. You just
no,
keep
no,
telling us
last
that.
time was my fault, and so someone did what I did when you were in the car with me, Bill. And I
Mhm.
overcooked it, and we went on our agricultural adventure.
Mhm.
Well, somebody came around,
Agricultural.
overcooked it.
That grass was getting rather long. It needed some trimming.
Yeah, and we mowed it.
We did.
Yeah.
All of it.
I
All
guess
of
this goes under the bad that we'll talk about later, but someone else did the same thing, only I was in their way from hitting the grass mowing section.
So you got a black flag due to other people's lack of skill.
Yes.
Mhm. Well, those are the ones that suck because they still count.
Seeing
Yeah.
as you mentioned my turn, it
Mhm.
was the same place.
Did you tell them that when you went into the black flag zone? Did you tell them? Did you explain to them this is my turn? I'm allowed to do this, and nobody else.
I really wanted to get back out as soon as possible.
Yeah,
and
kept that one inside.
I kept that one inside, and
I've never
instead
known you to
I
keep the
made
comment
random
inside.
jokes and made the judge laugh.
Yeah, that's
and,
good.
We talked about getting insurance coverage, and
Mhm.
swapping information with the other driver. We had a good time with it. So it's fine.
Okay. Well, before I get to whether anybody else partook in getting black flags this weekend, or was Audra the sole survivor, Bill, what did you think of
No.
the track? You've been here before. This was, I think, where your first race was, if I remember right.
Yep. There was no bumps. It was nice and smooth, and all of a sudden I could hear all the noises the car was making.
Yeah.
So that was
That's
a
true.
little weird. That was a little weird, and I thought there was things bumping in the trunk once when I went out on Friday, and there was nothing in the trunk. It was just
Oh, good.
It was just
I was
stuff
gonna
hidden.
say, did somebody stuff Larry in it before they
He's faster on
Probably
pit
doing a
stops if
fell
we
out.
carry him the whole time. That way he doesn't have to travel. It's fine.
And we do typically put stuff in the trunk to transport, like fuel tray and like spare parts. So
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I had opened the trunk and gotten the last of the stuff out of there, and I feared, maybe that I didn't get something, or maybe I didn't close the lid all the way, because it sounded like it was bouncing around, but there was nothing. It must be stuff coming up from the bottom, from the tires hitting the back. But yeah, it's different when the only noise you hear is the car. You don't have bumping around.
Yeah. And I didn't realize that consciously, but yeah, it did make different noise this time. So obviously the two of you who have never been to this track before and never done lemons before, you can't compare it to what it was last year, but going in cold, it's like a big autocross track. No problem, right? Same thing, just a little bigger.
Oh yeah, they're like two sides of the same coin.
Exactly.
Right.
We put cones out for you and everything this year.
Yeah, appreciated that.
Yeah, don't go
Look
around
at
them though. That's harder. It's much harder to go around the cones here.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful track. I mean, Doug and I have been to other tracks in the Northeast, and this is like by far the most beautiful and smoothest and enjoyable, and no tricky turns that like, oh, if I get it wrong, the car's in the wall, like nothing like that. So you just do your thing and do your best, and don't sweat the mistakes too much.
You keep saying that because turn 12 will disagree with you on that, especially in the rain.
Yes.
It can bite you pretty badly. So.
Okay, that's a good point.
Under the bridge. So what was your experience out there, just in general, since you're kind of freshly behind the wheel?
Just kind of in general, like my reaction to the race as opposed to the track specifically.
Was it what you
I mean-
expected? Was it,
Since you're new behind the wheel, right? You're new to endurance.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely new to endurance. We've
Right.
done driver education. We've done like a
Okay.
dozen of those. But that's like saying, well, I've ridden a bicycle, so I can drive a Porsche, right?
Right.
Absolutely. It's
So-
almost identical. You'll be fine.
Yeah. So in terms of like the endurance race, it is just way, way more excitement than any other auto sport like we've done up to this point. That's and I think the best description of it is, Bill, you probably mentioned this to me before I went out. It's like there is so much information coming to you like all at once. It's like, where are all the cars around me? What's going on in the flag station? Where am I? How do I take the next turn, given like all those factors? And, you have to compute it all in like half a second. Like I think that was like the big thing to adjust to, is just thinking that quickly.
And you had a huge change from day 1 to day 2. I saw, job well done, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Big improvement.
Yeah, I think the way I kind of looked at it when you're doing endurance racing is that everything when you first start out is important. Everything. And there's so much that information that you are taking in. And the longer you do that, the more some of that becomes just background. It becomes more automatic, and then you start focusing to the point when you're focusing on car craft and not so much on your shifting or your apexes or traffic, because your senses have finally reached that point to where it's not priority now. I mean, it is priority, but it's almost like back tier, and then you can start focusing on other things. But when you just said there's just so much intake, there is, when you're first time out there, there's so much information that comes in. It's a little overwhelming.
Yeah, I think you both said that to me, and it was like extremely helpful just to like anticipate it,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think, there wasn't much that could totally prepare me for that first session out, but at least, you all did your best with words. So
going in, and we have to politely ask Doug to stop talking so much and interrupting everybody. Going in, and this is going to be your question too, Mr. Talkative over there, so don't think you're getting away with it. Going into the race, what were you expecting? And then what was what you expected, and what was so far different than what you expected?
Oh, good question.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Well, that's why we have a podcast, It's just
very practiced. All right, I'll just go first while Mr. Talkative like formulates it.
No, keep it down there, buddy. Keep it
down. I would say what I expected was like dealing with the traffic. I knew that was going to be like my biggest hang up is how to focus on what I'm doing while all this is going on around me. So in one respect, it was, that was the big thing for me, and that's what I expected it to be. I think the degree was something that I couldn't really anticipate until I actually did it. But like I said, it's like where it is on the spectrum. And Bill, like short-term attention span. What was your second question?
What was different than you expected? Like you expected this, and it was either better or worse, or just so far different than what you thought going in?
Yeah, what was different? I didn't expect to improve so dramatically from day 1 to day 2. I just thought that was going to take me more than one event. So that was a very pleasant surprise that I could start to figure things out so quickly on day 2.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, your numbers just went right up. That was pretty amazing.
And while we're still talking to Laura, and Doug finally let the other people talk, we had 147 entries into this race, and typically when you're on the course with the autocross, how many different racers are on there with you?
Oh, right next to me, 0.
Yeah, like on the course with you.
On the course with me, probably 2.
2? Okay.
But I mean, I don't know how much your audience knows about autocross, but the whole point of autocross is you're out there by yourself. If you ever catch up with a car, or a car catches up with you, they red flag you, and you do a do-over. Like, we don't want cars near each other in autocross.
So did you pass more cars in this weekend race than you have in your entire autocross history?
Yes,
Oh,
I'm
okay,
happy
well
to say,
good job,
yes.
Audra.
But the next thing he's going to do is calculate the amount of time that you get for
That's
the
right.
amount of dollars spent
Exactly.
between autocross and any type of track event. So just wait for it.
Exactly.
Okay, awesome.
You're stealing my thunder there, Miss Audra, you know?
I know,
All right.
joyful.
All right. Doug, keep it down, keep it short. You know, don't dominate the entire podcast like you have been so far.
So I would say the thing that I didn't know if I was going to like it or not, and it turned out that I really liked it a lot. I loved it. It was fantastic. It was so much fun, and I think a part of that is certainly the people, and this team is awesome, and all the people on it are terrific. The people that we met, yourselves included, at the race were just so kind and fun. Although out on the racetrack, you're all like zooming in and out and cutting people off and so forth. So that's kind of hilarious. But you know, I probably did the same thing to the 3 people I passed.
You always gotta remember, you gotta eat, Doug. You just gotta eat.
Ah,
I think we were really fortunate, Laura and I, because the car that Max has prepared for us is really quite forgiving, predictable, easy to drive. It never surprised me, and I surprised it a couple of times, but it's very consistent, and that made the experience enjoyable. And it you know it's kind of nice. It can pass cars. It's obviously not the fastest car out there, but it's not the slowest car out there. So it kind of gives you opportunities to obviously get past, but do some passing as well. And that was fun as well.
Yeah, I can see that. Having driven that car, it's one of the nicer cars to drive on the Lemons Field. So, okay.
mhm.
Um,
Were either of you at any point overwhelmed?
I don't think so now.
That's awesome. That's awesome. They're ready for round 2.
it's like,
Doug's answer is to the previous question was awesome. That I would add that to like the thing that I didn't expect is just the whole environment of Lemons. I mean, Audra explained it, but experience it. It's fun, but it's also like so much generosity and like,
Mhm.
you know, all the present company included, like helpfulness. I mean, it just, I haven't like felt like that supported. And like, I don't know if I've ever had that experience like, continuously, like throughout the whole event is really, that was remarkable. And
And the
lovely.
nice thing is it will be at whatever team that you approach with a question, not just us, it's everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pervasive. And that's really, yeah, impressive. So it's great.
Good.
all right. So my anally retentive engineer in me wants to know goals. Did you guys have goals going in, or you know, things that you wanted to accomplish, or things, you know, like Audra's favorite turn, the things you didn't want to accomplish, you know, things like that.
That's so funny you're asking that question, because that's actually my question for you, like the more experienced racers, but we'll get to that after we answer you. I did not come in with any goals. I wanted to keep the car in one piece and just figure out what in the world was going on. That was it.
Yeah,
They were very simple goals.
Nothing wrong with that.
Don't crash the car, don't damage the car, and have fun. And
Make the checker.
yeah, I did in Friday practice. I did go off, put 4 wheels off into, just didn't make the turn. So that was my first time doing that on a track. I've done that plenty at autocross, but never on a track. So I guess that was a learning experience for sure, and check that one off the list. And I'm glad the car wasn't damaged.
Max builds a good car.
He sure does.
Yes, he does.
Audra, Max, Bill, goals going in, or are you guys still freewheeling?
How about Bill? What were your goals?
I needed to get to where I was doing a lot more shifting, and I was able to do that.
Okay.
And pass more than one car, which I did.
Oh, excellent.
Awesome.
I even passed the truck a couple times, and it passed me right back.
Okay, just remember the first rule of the truck is you versus the truck, you will lose. It's just
Exactly.
so.
Well, our car has a little more oomph to it.
It's got a little more oomph, and the truck, when people tend to see the truck as an object that they can just push around, and they realize they're pushing against a rock, and they usually take the worst of it. So that's okay. Did you get your stints up, Bill? You've been kind of working towards getting your endurance going and rocking and rolling a bit longer.
I think I actually drove a little less this time because we had more people.
Okay.
But by 15 minutes, I think the longest I've done is an hour and 45.
Oh, cool.
They're not short stints anyways. I think Thompson did some pretty long ones.
Okay, cool. All right. I
Bill was
lost track.
very-
It's hard to keep track of these things.
Yeah, Bill was very generous with his time. He gave up a lot of track time so Doug and I could be out there more. So
Oh,
Yeah. Well, I also, for some reason, when I go out, there's not a lot of yellows or so
Not lying.
I get lots of time actually going full speed or my full speed.
You know why there's no yellows when you go out, Bill?
They're all afraid of me.
No, it's because they know if they throw the yellows and you get the opportunity to get out of the car, you're going to get out of the car. I'm just saying.
they keep you in the car.
So, Max,
No,
Audra, anything?
yeah.
You have an answer?
I know you
You
guys
have any
wanted
goals?
to have your two new friends enjoy the
Yeah,
Venice
I think my goals were really just to have a smooth running event, and just to make sure that, Laura and Doug had fun, that we were organized, that we were prepared, as far as the whole team goes. And then for myself personally, I'm still working on being a little bit more assertive, trying to stay in the packs and not just backing off. And
Remember,
yeah.
you remember what the term is. Dang it, I paid to be here too. That's what I
right.
tell
Yeah.
myself.
That is not what you say.
Close enough.
Okay.
What-
All right.
that's
Most
what
of the
I
words
say.
are the same. One of them is very, very different. Max,
And Max, how about you? Did you have any goals kind of walking in, anything you were working on or tried to achieve?
Well, in terms of the actual driving, I think when I find myself in a pack that I can keep up with, I wanted to try to keep up with them as long as possible, which I was
Okay.
able to do, which is very fun. Because sometimes if you're in one of those packs that is passing other
Mhm.
cars, you can sort of like piggyback on them, and that's very enjoyable.
Yeah, I think I think we talked about that last night, and somebody termed that really well. They called it the wedge
Okay.
because the people know the fast cars coming through, and so they just kind of like part the sea. So if you get
Yeah.
a chance to hop in behind them,
Yeah.
that's
So I was
that's
trying
racecraft.
I was trying to take advantage of that more, and succeeded a few times. So that was cool. In terms of the driving, and then in terms of the non-driving, I still want to get more sleep when I'm there. I just can't seem to do it. I mean, I know it'll happen someday, maybe just a little bit, just like an hour more, just a little bit.
Yeah, all of a sudden it's like midnight and we're just finishing up, and I don't know why.
It's just tough. But that was something that the pit race, the weather was a factor for getting to sleep because the wind was just insane.
Oh my gosh, you are
And the
not
trailer
lying.
felt like it was going to blow away.
Mhm.
With us
ours
in it.
did.
Yeah, with us in it, right? And yeah, New Jersey, I don't know. Yeah, just got to try to. It's tough though because everyone's up. It's a big party, you know what I mean? So that's
Did it have
just
anything
difficult.
to do with the tractor trailer horn that kept coming
Yeah.
through at about 10 or 11 o'clock at night?
Yeah, that was bad. Yeah,
Doug
that
and
got
I-
old pretty quick. It was funny the first time,
Yeah, it was.
when the sun was still up. But yeah,
And then Audra became salty.
I did get salty.
Yeah, a
I
lot
know
of people
this
did.
can prove it.
She was so angry.
They did it enough where it was funny, and then it wasn't funny, but they didn't do it
Right.
enough where it became funny again. They didn't. They stopped in the middle of. I'm not going to say what other people
That would not
called it.
have become funny again.
No.
Oh,
I'm
just
so
like not
salty.
outside my trailer. It's not funny.
That's right. That's
And they
right.
were like 2 trailers
Oh.
over.
Doug and I were wondering, driving out of the park, because we did not stay in the park in New Jersey.
Oh,
We're
me
driving
too.
out. We're like, "Hey, is this like the quiet section of the whole paddock? Like, is there such a thing where if like you're front, no, you're shaking your head, no such thing."
We'll go
It's
find
just-
you if you try to find the.
No,
quiet
and
section.
actually, this past year it was a very mild scene. Normally, it gets a lot crazier than that, but in a fun way.
Mhm.
But I don't know if a lot of cars were taken out and people left early, or everybody was just chill this particular weekend. But I did sense a very mild atmosphere this year, which was actually kind of nice because everybody was freaking exhausted.
Hmm.
Sure.
So one of my goals is always going to be the same, and it's getting Larry to start driving. But Larry, Chew and crew extraordinaire,
Yes.
photographer extraordinaire. We need to be able to borrow Larry to get some photos because we had 0. Anything you saw? Any behind the scenes stuff that these guys are not giving us up for the podcast? Because we are the hard hitting podcast, the award winning. Well, I gave myself the award, but it's fine.
And also, Larry, did you have any personal goals walking in for this weekend?
Yeah, I did. I was excited to have Doug and Laura join us, which is, we know them from autocross and other venues, but I was really excited to have them do this, and I wanted to make sure they also had a good time. And you don't know coming in, there's a lot of insanity that goes with it. There's a lot of fun, but there's a ton of safety that goes with it, and there's just a lot of different things going on. So one of my goals was to make sure that they were able to blend in, and they did it marvelously.
So you ambassaded them right through, didn't you?
Well, we all did, but that was one
Yeah.
of my personal goals to make sure. And, I might have worked with them a little bit extra on like the hot pitting, and that was new for all of us actually, right? We had 5 drivers. We wanted to make sure everybody was involved. So we divided and conquered the roles and whatnot. And they all did a great time. In fact, we're looking at the times and we knew it going in, right? We were doing some different roles and we had a couple of new people that were anxious to do it. And the first couple of pits were like I'm looking at the times now, 9:49, 9 minutes and 3 seconds. And by the end of the weekend, we did 6:21, 6:31, and 6:49. So we cut about a third of the time off, which is
See, he's timing his hot pits.
yeah,
That's awesome.
Not F1 quality, is because I'm going to jump in before Bill says it, but certainly something that I'm very proud of, and that was part of like the goal for the weekend, right? If you see that type of camaraderie and people working together and covering for each other and whatnot, so I was very happy with the way it went, and I was really glad to have our teammates here.
Well, I noticed that you guys had a real tight paddock scene and you guys had a real tight garage scene happening, which is really, really impressive. How did the car hold up through the weekend?
In the paddock?
Yeah. Just in general, guys. Was there any issues that you were having in the moment?
The car didn't really. No, the body got banged up, but other than that, that was pretty much it.
Okay, that's good.
Mechanically, it was okay. Yeah.
Good.
All right. So with race monitor doing race monitor things, I've never seen it be such a debacle. I've
Oh my gosh.
No idea how you guys did. I think you did okay because you had a bunch of driver changes and a whole bunch of stuff going on. So were you guys happy with where you may have ended up and nobody knows?
Well, Lemons posted theirs results. So I got
did
rid
they?
of Race Monitor and Race Hero, and I used theirs results.
Okay.
So we came in 40th overall.
Oh,
That's good.
wow.
With all the swapping you
and we
guys are
came
doing,
in
that's awesome.
14th in class, but we came in 40th overall. And if you're interested, 616 came in 26th.
Yep.
So
Oh,
yep.
yeah, because part of it, that we were 26 overall.
Yes.
That's what it
So they
shows
kept
you as.
writing, and you kept,
Yeah,
you
because
kept
part of
ignoring
it, yeah, because part of them was saying 59, part of them was saying like 70, and I have no idea where I'm at. So we came in 26.
26, and I got to tell you, you came in third in class, and I know there was some discussion about that in a previous podcast you had. But yeah, Bill's holding up the one finger, one lap out of second place.
Because
Wow.
it's
Oh,
hood
wow.
pins.
So
Because of hood pins.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
That's
no,
awesome.
congratulations to the team, and the Reagan team did really well too. I can't remember what number they were all of a sudden, but
I think they were like
222.
Freaking
50
What number
or
were they?
60.
222.
the Mustang.
No,
No, I
Mustang's
didn't look up the
113.
Mustang.
No, the
Oh
truck.
no, that's El
222 came
Jefe.
in 44th, so they were 3
44.
places behind us.
Okay. That was
Okay.
close. Yeah, they,
So it was a good weekend to answer your question. I just happened to have that in front of me, and I know there's some discrepancy between the things, but I'm going with the
yeah, go
24
with
hours
Lemons.
Lemons results site, figuring that they massaged it and they were favorable for all of us. So why wouldn't we use those results?
Right.
Exactly. I saw about
So-
where you guys were. So
It's a big deal for us because, we were always ambassadoring, much like what Audra did this past weekend. So we always had new people in our cars. And this was the first weekend in a couple of years when we said, let's go see what we can really do. So, and we would always end up like 50 and below, but that's freaking awesome.
Something to be very proud
26
of.
on the list, and she kept erasing it and putting 50 on. Like, that was Saturday. Because Race Hero only did Saturday for some reason. Who knows? But whatever.
That's awesome. It's awesome.
Had a good time.
Congrats.
So with that, you guys, did you guys have any learning opportunities on track? And I know our newbies must have learned a couple things on track that they didn't know going in, but let's start with the vets. Let's start with the guy with the best name on here, Bill.
What was the question again?
And did you learn anything on there, either about your driving or about driving on the track, or that track specifically?
I think I'm kind of doing the slow progression, but I was able to pass on the inside and the outside and figure out where people were. So I felt much more in control and much more comfortable.
Cool. Leaving yourself room for improvement next year. That's fine. That's good. Max, what are you thinking?
One thing I noticed with the new Surface was that the tire noise was incredibly present.
Mm-hmm.
So I was using the tire noise a lot to like you do anytime when you know where you're at in terms of how much grip you have or how hard you're pushing, and using the changes in the noise to okay, I'm pushing too hard now because they're screaming, or they're just making a good noise, that kind of thing. So I was doing that a lot because with the new Surface, it was just like incredibly apparent.
Mm-hmm. And
couldn't help but hear it. And then, using, I don't know, just sort of like letting the car understeer and using that, like knowing it's going to understeer, intentionally understeer, just to try to get around people or do something in a certain way. It was pretty cool with all the feedback from the Surface. That helped a lot.
That's awesome. Miss Audra, obviously, you learned stuff. I'm sure you fully applied 100% all the details and vast knowledge you learned from having your Apex Pro in the car the entire weekend. So what about you, Miss Audra?
So I learned that I probably need a second Apex Pro because mine is in the Spec E30, and we got to New Jersey, and then I remembered that. So there's that.
There's that problem. There's this person that's like right next to you in the garage who has 4 of them. Just FYI.
Should have known. Yeah, I think the tire noise actually threw me, and until I got used to that, maybe like a twofold thing, going from the last race I did was in the Spec E30, and they both feel very, very differently. And I wasn't pushing the slippery slope car nearly enough till almost the end. Then finally it like clicked in my head that, oh, okay, yeah, it can be pushed like more. And then I finally started to drive better, but it was, kind of too late in the game for that. but it was good to have that realization and to, I think for the next race, I'll feel a lot more comfortable and I'll be able to push it harder, faster than what I did this time.
And for the home gamers, that's obviously the longest explanation for why Audra always gets her one flyer in, no matter what happens, every single time.
You know me, gotta have my hero run at the end.
Exactly. So Audra, before we get to our newbies and how they did, how did it feel to have, another hour of track time just yanked from your clutches, and when somebody just says no, you're not getting in the car, when the plan is you're going to get into the car for one last time, you're going to get another hour, you're going to drive the Civic, which is an old friend of yours from long ago, and then somebody just rips it apart right out of your body and says, no, sit on the side.
I was so proud of her, to get back in and to go and bring you in for the day. So proud. That was awesome.
I had
if you needed me, I would have done it, but to see her and every time I've been at a race, you've had more people driving your car than you. And that's the first time, Bill, I've actually seen you in one of your cars.
That's
so
allowed.
To see you actually get race time, to see the two of you work together seamlessly. I get to help.
There's seams, Audra. There's
no,
seams.
it was really impressive, and it was really, really good to see. And I'm really happy that you did that this time. You got all that driving in, and you went back in at the end, and you took it in for your team. That's
You know
awesome.
what? The thing is that, as we discussed last night on the last podcast, was that the whole gas issue with us running out of gas. And I'm like, I could go more. But I probably should have gotten out. I know the first day, on the first day, I got really tired, and I don't know if it was so many cars on the track when I had gone out, or like the carbon monoxide, or I wasn't getting proper airflow, but I was really getting wonky with my senses. So I had to come off, and that was pretty much me done for the day. And I think I did 2.5 hours.
2:15.
And it really started to affect my driving. So, but when I had gone in second, Bill had gone in third, I was still ready to go. And then he had already had a talk with you about, you want to go in. I'm like, I wouldn't mind hopping back in the car, because I think I had something to prove at that point.
You did, and that's great.
It was a good track to race on. I was having a freaking ball with it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'll just, I said, well, if you would like to go, you can go, or I can go. And she's like, well, do you want to go? I said, well, yeah, I'll go. She goes, then you should drive your car. So
it was a great plan, except the entire time I was telling Audra exactly what the car was doing, exactly where the track was a little slippery, and she's just sitting there shaking her head. And I'm like, and there's debris between turn 6 and 7.
She's like,
and she's just looking at me. And then I turn around, and you're sitting in the car, and I'm like, why are you in the car? What are you doing? She needs to get in the car.
True confessions. I couldn't hear a damn thing you were saying. Nodding my head.
All right. Apparently, we got married, Audra, because Vicki can't hear a damn thing I say either, but, it's fine.
And that's with a helmet.
I know.
Off.
With the radio unplugged, she's like, "Who's on the radio?" And I say, "It's me." And plug comes out. I don't know what happened. It's the weirdest thing. All right, I forgot what the question is. I had to make fun of Vicki. So, Laura and Doug, answer the question that I don't remember what I asked. What did I ask?
What did we learn?
Yes, there it is.
There
Thanks
you
for
go.
somebody to pay
What
attention
did
to
you
this podcast.
learn?
So this is a total noob answer, not surprisingly.
But
I think
since it's your
the
first time, it's okay.
So I would say the revelation I had on day 2, and I, again, not for lack of people trying to explain this to me, but just having experienced it for myself, is wow, you're right. If you just stay on the pedal and you don't back off just because someone's coming up on you, sometimes they can't pass you.
That's right. Sometimes they have to stay in their lane.
Exactly. And that was and I totally appreciate like Vicki, your mantra, which is like, hey, I paid to be here too. And it's just like,
Not
yeah,
it.
there's
No,
something.
but yeah, see, the thing is, and I'm not sure, I'm not trying to be sexist whatsoever, but girls by nature have a tendency to back off
Is that
when
true, Max?
things, well, normally they take a role, and that's why because when the guys come through, then it's easy if they know a girl's in the car that they'll just muscle through because it's just a girl, and I'm not saying that in a sexist way at all. I'm just saying that it's kind of like an innate thing that, you just kind of like, okay, people are coming, go to let them through, and I'll just do my thing. But when you get past that and say, no, I am going to hold my spot and you're going to have to fight me for it now. That's something that's very empowering about that. And I think by guys, that's competitive. Girls, it's a different vibe that we get when we're on the track. So when we switch over into competitive, then it becomes something totally different on the track.
This guy doesn't care who's in the car. I just see cars.
I'll be honest with you. If it was a woman driver on the other car, I'd probably let her by too. But I totally get what you're saying, Vicki. It's like that first time you realize that you can fight them off. It's,
right.
It's like, oh, okay, this is how everyone else is doing it. All right.
Mm-hmm. Well, the nice thing is, the nice thing too is that we had one of the guys who, and I think it was Bill that was in the car. They come up and like, who's driving the Civic? And I'm just like, oh, geez. He goes, I just want to come over and just say that was pretty awesome because we had some pretty good battles on the track. And that was both back and forth fighting for position and, having this thing back and forth until you finally get that one lead and you can break away. But he's like, that was just really awesome. So there's battles on the track if you end up getting stuck with somebody.
Yeah.
Which is pretty awesome.
It is pretty awesome.
So before we let Doug dominate the conversation again, like he always does, one thing I wanted to point out was, Laura, your fastest lap from Saturday to Sunday went down. Oh, well, Audra just left. This is a great joke. Come on, Audra, come back. Come back to me, Audra.
It's a great joke. There she is.
Come back to me.
No, there she is. Oh, that's Max.
Audra, come back. Right, Max, you're gonna have to tell
get
Audra
them
the
signs
joke
or
already.
something,
This joke has been way built up, way more than it needs to be. Okay, so between Saturday and Sunday, you actually saved more time than a typical autocross run.
Yeah. Yeah, that's totally true. I was like leaps and bounds between day 2 and day 1. Yeah.
So you saved yourself an autocross run in one day. Just imagine how much.
Yeah, I think I gained a season or something.
Exactly. Let's do some calculations on time behind the wheel. No, well, Audra's not here. I'm not going to make fun of autocross again. It's just my job. Doug.
Audra did 1.
Really?
Yeah. Audra, it's a tradition. It's like one of Vicki's favorite words. It's the shtick. I got to do my shtick. Anyway.
Yep.
If it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing.
Ain't that the truth?
Exactly. All right, Doug, we finally are going to let you talk again.
Yeah.
Put the quarter in the slot.
I would say what I learned a million little things. Like however many laps I did, I learned something on every single lap, both a practice on Friday and running on Saturday and Sunday. Just some, silly newbie type things. Like I didn't realize there was a flagging station at the end of the straightaway until like my second session on Friday. I completely didn't and only realized it because someone was waving to them, and I'm like, "What are they waving at?" Oh, there's a flagger over there. I learned, like you can turn your head and see just fine with the Hans on. I learned I don't like to have someone chatting in my ear when I'm in heavy traffic.
Nobody does.
I think that's just everyone.
The big thing I learned, and I would say I didn't learn this, but I've realized this is the key thing that I need to learn, and I started to, which is where and how to pass other cars.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Track is a good spot to pass them, and like, you know, and reading the car, like, is this person, are they doing the line because they, you know, or are they erratic, or like what's you know, trying to read them very quickly and then get past them safely is something. There's a lot to learn there.
Okay, so I've got two follow-ups for you, and then I'm going to ask Laura the same second question. Did you notice, or did you get to the point yet where you can tell if the car that you're about to pass has any idea that you're there? Like, there are certain cars where it's like, I could pass this person, but they have zero idea that I am on the same world with them. Never mind about to pass them. So we are going to hit each other going into this turn.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's always that's one of the mysteries. Like, yeah, do they know? Because our car is not particularly loud. Like some of the loud cars, you can hear them when they come up to you, but that's not our car for sure. Yeah.
Or their janky music when they're driving by.
Janky music. Yeah,
Because you can't really hear it. You just hear like the treble and the bass, and that's all about you can hear out of it.
It's all about the bass. But
It's all
anyway.
about the bass.
Okay, so here's the question. Okay, one of the keys that they will always say when you go on track is to keep your eyes up and try to get vision, long vision, and make sure. So I have a test for my two newbies who've never been to this track. Max, Audra, and Bill cannot answer the question. You too, Larry. Shh, shh, shh. You're traveling down the front straight where start finish is. You're going down that front straight. You're turning on the turn one. You're on that front straight for, I don't know, 20 seconds, let's say 20 seconds of your entire lap, looking straight down that straight. You need to tell me what is at the end of the front straight. Tell me what's there. Is there something there? What's there? What's at the end of the front straight? Because you've seen it hundreds of times this weekend. So what's there?
You can see the tire barrier in the distance.
Mm-hmm. Anything else?
I know there's a gravel pit there, but you can't see it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
In the car.
there's gravel and then there's a fence, I thought.
Uh-huh.
There's a flagging station I finally noticed.
Yep, it's on to the left. Yep, but straight in front of you, is there like 3 billboards? Like big billboards? Like
Oh,
big,
yeah. I'm going to
yeah.
fail this.
Yeah. Everybody's like, what billboards? I'm like, go look. And I see it. And so things to work on for next time.
I spent the entire time going down the straight looking in my rearview mirror.
Yeah.
It's usually a good plan. So now we've come to the point in the podcast where I get to pimp something. So this, let me see. How do I get this? How do I get this? This future podcast guest coming on soon. Ross Bentley, Ultimate Speed Secrets. This book right here. Key to your life. You know what the best part about it is? If it's Audra's, it's still unopened. So you can borrow it. You're just going to have to get the dust off the top of it from sitting on the bedstand next to her. But
there is dust, but I have opened it.
Did you?
Yeah.
What did you drop it and have to close it and put it back in?
Yeah. See, this is when you know that you've entered Bill's inner circle when he starts using sarcasm and messing with you.
I'm not sarcastic. I'm dead flat straight. Okay. So one of my fun things. So what can you do either individually or as a team to improve for the next race? What can you do? Show of hands. Anyone? Anyone? I'm going to start with Larry. Larry never gets to talk. So Larry, you or the team?
For the team, well, I can tell you an observation I had. I'm going to tell you why I'm telling you this story, but the team, even if we don't discuss things, sometimes we evolve things that are efficient. And it happened. Laura made this observation during the thing towards the end of Sunday, but I think we're going to incorporate this into the whole thing. And it's simply when it comes time to hot pit, we start getting dressed and changed. And we have a thing with the team is we usually start walking down with about 5 minutes left. And Laura observed that when there's about 10 minutes left, and I say 5 minutes to walk, which means we're going to head down to the hot pits. The next driver intuitively heads to the restroom. It was just one of those things. and it's true. I mean, she was absolutely right. Like, I didn't even know it was happening, but it's something that, when we have our debrief after the, after sometime the next few weeks, I definitely plan on baking that in because, as of now, as far as we know, Bill, I hope I get this right. I wrote it down. Each of the 5 drivers you're speaking to tonight do have a bladder larger than a baby Barbie doll, which I expression that
I wish we could say that about our team, but that's a different podcast. That one came out today, but yeah.
But seriously, that was a learning that, like, it wasn't like some grand scheme. I just observed it, but it's actually a great idea, right? I mean, if you think about it, and something worth baking into the plan.
Okay. What about you, Mr. Bill? You got any learnings? Anything you want to share with the group?
I guess I need to get a little faster, and some of my teammates need to not get hit so much.
Oh, we're gonna get to that. That's coming soon. I can't wait. That's coming. That's one of my favorite questions, because then I get to
that combination will probably make us much faster. But of course, if I go faster, then I'm probably going to get hit
or go off, like it,
or go off. Yeah.
The Audra turn. It's fine. Okay. What about?
Well, she didn't go off on her own.
Not this time.
Not this time.
Don't ruin the story, Bill. Don't ruin the story. Just because you got a great first name, don't ruin the story, Bill. It's okay. What about our newbies? New eyes, fresh eyes, never saw this craziness before, walked in, thought they were going to see, a Halloween party and a bunch of junky cars and nobody serious and nobody who knew how to drive at all. What do you guys, what do you see? What do you see that we can do better? What can you do better, or what can the team do better?
I would not presume to tell what they could do better after just one time. But for myself, just trying to be more aggressive, hold my line, look for more opportunities to pass, see if I can get better at that. That's what I would do at the next one.
Doug?
Similar to Laura's answer. I think I could just get better in every aspect of my driving. So it's just more laps, really, more time in the car on the track. I think will help a lot. But I think the team, it's hard to understand how the team could be better.
Oh, trust me, we all could. What about you mentioned more laps? Do you think you need more race time, or do you need more HPD time, or what are you thinking?
No, definitely more race time, because passing other cars and dealing with being passed, but not letting, when you're getting past, not going overly slow. There were some of my laps which are, I don't know, 10 or 15 seconds slower with under green conditions, which clearly I was just stuck in behind, getting caught up in cars, the fast pack coming through, and then getting stuck behind a slower car. And just getting better at that, so I can have more consistent times as opposed to kind of up and down times.
You want a pro tip for you newbies? So you're coming down the track, and you're between turns 6 and 7. 7's the condo turn. Scan the track in front of you and go all the way to the right, and you can see all the way through the octopus into the bridge. Look for where the slow cars are. And plan accordingly.
Oh, nice.
Because you got time.
Yeah.
Yeah, the secret to racing is eyes up. That's one thing you got to keep reminding yourself to do, is look as far ahead as you possibly can around the apex, and then the track doesn't become so scary.
As Miss Frizzle said, information is power.
Guess that's right.
Okay. All right, Max and Audra, what do you think? What could be done? What could make things better, either personally or team-wise?
I think my biggest revelation came from helping you and Vicki with your hot pit. It was just the two of you. I was somewhat extraneous. I mean, I really just handed gas cans over to you, Bill. So, and it was quick. Like, that was under a minute. I don't know. That was the fastest pit I've ever seen.
Really?
So to improve our hot pits, maybe less is more. I think it was really good to include Doug and Laura and for all of us to have a job, but maybe if we reduce the amount of people that we have involved, we'll get through it faster. So that was my revelation.
Okay. We can go over pit. We should probably do a pit stop podcast, but that's okay. We can go over some stuff post pod if we want to. All right, Miss Vicki, you want to do the traditional?
Yes. So the traditional
we didn't do Max. We didn't do
Max.
Max.
Sorry,
Max, who's gotten the vote for best hair from Jeremy, and I'm supposed to mention it during the podcast.
Max does have some pretty terrific hair. He does.
Larry, we're gonna use the Max thumbs up picture as the logo for this one. So thank you.
Please feel free.
Nice.
Mr. Harry?
I would say just like double checking each other, like before we're going, say, for example, like we didn't really have any big issue with this, but like, going out to a hot pit for a driver swap, checking each other's gear, making sure everybody's got the gear on, the correct gear and the gear on correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So, like a Hans, unclipped, dealing with that in the garage or in the paddock is a lot easier than dealing with that in the hot pit. Making sure helmets are buckled, so you're not doing that with your gloves, on the side of the hot pit. Just doing a quick double check of each other, I think would help things. It wasn't really a big problem, but there were a couple of times when, we had to make adjustments sort of like after when we should have, you know what I mean?
Right. You don't want to get caught because that's, that at best, you're just going to have to go through the paddock and that's going to waste like 5 minutes if you do it
right.
the right
I mean,
speed.
just like a sort of like a quick double check kind of might be a good habit to get into.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Did the checklist, the Rev 1 checklist in the morning, did that help at all? Was that something you think will help the team?
You had the laminated checklist.
Oh, you're asking me.
Yeah.
We started to go down it, and then it was helpful. Yeah, it's good.
Okay. Well, it's a work in progress. It's version 1. It's in beta.
I also like your system of just putting tape on the window.
Yeah,
with the
that's
things
good
that
too.
need to be done and peeling it off as you go along.
And clean windshield's the last one.
Right.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Yeah. The tape doesn't work too
that
good with
was
Windex.
too.
Yeah.
Oh, so we're going to go into the wrap up of your weekend, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So and if you don't have an ugly, just give us a story of something you'd seen on the track or something that you've seen in the paddock that was interesting, fascinating, or terrible. But how about Bill? Good, bad, and ugly.
I guess good is we got ourselves put in Class B,
Mm-hmm.
which was kind of a surprise. We thought we were going to get extra laps in A, and all of a sudden we're in B with no laps. So that was good. But then we were supposed to win, and that's bad because we didn't come close. And it wasn't a whole lot of uglies. I did see a couple people go out, run off the track in front of me, but that seems to happen every time I'm here.
What about something ugly or a story time? What's the story from the weekend, Bill?
I did have one car pass me really fast in the octopus, and as I rolled around the corner, they were off in the grass.
Oh yeah.
That was kind of humorous.
Did you wave to him, Bill? Did you give him the Jersey wave?
No, I did not.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think they knew what had happened.
Ran out of talent.
Yeah. How about Larry?
For me, I'd say the good is the tower, and let me tell you why. Last year when I was here, I wasn't on the team. I was a groupie. Came down to support the team, and but I found the tower this year because we had talked prior to coming about being eyes for the driver and see if we can kind of assist in some way. And a lot of the tracks, it's not easy to get more than a small view or a snippet of the track or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But that tower is fantastic. I would definitely put that in the good.
You can
Not
see
for the start of the
everything.
race. I'm sorry.
You can almost see everything from up there.
Yeah, truly. I mean, and if you can't see it, you can certainly see the smoke of the dust what got kicked up because a car went off or something like that. But it was truly, definitely, part of the good from the day. You know what I mean? Of being up there and whatnot. I don't know. I'd say the ugly isn't really ugly. It was just shocking. Max had swept up some speedy dry and he said, see if someone has a dustpan. This is like the simplest request on the face of the earth. I checked every garage in both buildings and some of the people in the paddock that I had, and nobody had a dustpan. They all just said, I know speedy dry and cardboard don't mix well for sweeping, but nobody had a dustpan, which I thought was hysterical. So we may bring one next race and we're like $3 a borrow or something like that, and just rent it out and see if
Might
we can
pay for the
have a
whole
So
little
you guys
side
are like
hustle.
us. It's like, how can we not have that? What's going on?
Yeah, so that was my my observation.
Awesome.
Nice. How about Audra and Max? Good, bad, ugly.
We don't get to do it individually. I would say the good was just this team, and it's I'm so happy to go to events with this team, and we just had so much fun and so many laughs, and Doug and Laura fit in seamlessly with the team, and they were so much fun, and they were so helpful. And I came back from driving or walking my dog, I can't remember which, and Doug had completely cleaned my kitchen, and that was
Yeah.
oh,
Doug.
the highlight of the weekend for me.
That's
That
awesome.
was really awesome. So thank you very much. But yeah, it's just so fun. And paddocking with all of the Garage Heroes teams is just it's just such a good time, and it's like my favorite thing. So that is the good.
Oh.
The bad, I guess, was getting in between someone who was determined to have an agricultural adventure at my corner, and their attempts to do so. So Max is still dealing with the after effects of that. Well, I think you got most of the stuff bent out last night. So that was the bad. That's
Or still partially red.
the red will always be there.
Right.
But
That narrows it down. I know who it was now. What about story time, Miss Audra?
Story time. I don't have a good story from us, but I have to say, doing like everybody dressing up and that whole atmosphere is always amazing. This time the outstanding team that did the Dune
Right.
their theme was absolutely amazing. And I had the opportunity to talk to a couple of them Saturday night. And I was like, my God, this is like, you guys did such an amazing job. And they said to me, yeah, this came together on Wednesday.
Wow.
I was so impressed. And that
Oh.
theme, and we missed the awards. Did they get it? Did they get the Halloween?
No.
They didn't. They got honorable mention. But you know who did win it? Three Pedal Mafia.
No, they didn't.
Oh,
They got best theme, didn't they?
No, it
Wrong
was
Way Racing got it.
yeah.
Who what? Oh, who was it? Sorry.
Wrong Way Racing got Halloween Meets Gasoline. The
Mhm.
Italian Job Racing got
The Italian-
Organizer's Choice.
they were hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah.
I must
Oh,
have
I think it
been-
was the hippo. It was the hippo one.
Yes. Yep.
Yes, because they actually had a hippo that
Eat more hippo.
Eat more
Yeah.
hippo.
I heard that it pooped on people.
it pooped on the cars,
Yeah.
Oh, it pooped on the cars. Yeah.
which
Okay.
which was freaking ingenious if you think about it. They said, from what I understand, is that they had a penalty, and the hippo car had backed itself up and pooped on the hood of their car and just drove away. And whatever that came out of it smelled so bad that they had to go hose it off.
Oh my God.
I'm not
And they
sure
were-
if it was a penalty or tech. One of the two.
No, it was penalty.
Was it?
Yeah, because I had to go to the restroom. I stepped down, I'm like, what is that?
That's horrible.
Yeah, but ingenious at the same time, if you think about it.
And hilarious.
And hilarious. It's quite something.
All right. Well, the two people who had no idea what they were getting into.
Very
Good, bad, and the ugly. Ladies first.
The good for me is I'm gonna say, Bill, you and Jeremy are just like the best. Every time you pass me, you gave me like this nice friendly wave. It was just so nice. It was, it's like, I've got all this like mayhem going on around me. And then I just, I see these one or two cars that are like, a friendly ally out there. And it was,
Mhm.
that was quite nice. I enjoyed that. So thank you for doing that for me. Then let's see, the bad. I don't have a good one for the bad. It's just like, I made a
That's
lot
fine.
of mistakes. Oh, I'll give you this for bad. I think every pit I did I made some critical mistake. That was like, I figured I could at least get one clean one out of 2 days, but nope.
Okay.
Well, if
It's
I
your
may,
first
you were
race?
also complimented though. That one
Oh,
of the
that's
pits,
true. That's
one of the
true.
workers went out of his way to compliment her on how well she did the fueling and whatnot.
Thank you, Larry. I did forget that. Yeah, apparently I was excellent at pouring fuel into the car.
Anything ugly or excuse for story time?
Yeah, I'll tell you one ugly story. So the same driver that hit Audra, I think this was like later in the day on Sunday. This was after their incident on Saturday. That same driver, I saw them, I'm coming out of like turn 10 and 11, and this dude's like zigging around me, zagging around like 2 or 3 other cars, winds up in the middle of the track, and then past like 11 just dives over to the right because he's pitting. And it's like, really? You had to like create all this chaos for like 4 cars when you were just going into pit?
It
Like,
was so important.
yeah. So that's like, that tells you what kind of driver that dude is. So.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, the names will be changed to protect the innocent. Unfortunately, they weren't innocent, but okay. All right, the Dominator. Doug,
I
what
would
do you
say the good would be how much fun everything in the overall weekend was. So that was awesome. Bad, the bad would probably be the drive home, and or just driving past the New York metro area is the worst thing ever.
Did you take the George?
No.
We did coming down. We took the Tappan Zee going home.
Very good. Very good.
Very good.
The George Washington Bridge does not exist, people. It does not exist. That's not the bridge you're looking for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
I mean, traffic wasn't too bad. Just that whole area is just horrible to drive, and Waze can't compute. It's just Waze's algorithm just blows up because there's so many options.
Yep, there is.
I'd say the ugly was, I think this was on Saturday. I don't remember, but I was behind one of the minis from the Italian mafia team that was next to us in the garage, and they put one, we came onto the straightaway probably doing 80 or 90 miles an hour, and they were just overcooked it, and they dropped one wheel off, and they came back on one of their back wheels off. They came back onto the course, wiggled violently, and then went off sideways into the sand. And I thought they were going to roll, but they didn't, which was awesome. But they shot up a huge cloud. It was all happening in front of me, and like, what am I supposed to do? I'm doing 80 miles an hour. I'm not going to swerve around them. And I wasn't sure if someone was inside of me or what other cars were. So I just kind of held my line, and big cloud of dirt, and it turned out to be good. But it was like, for a moment there, I was like, "Ooh, this could get real ugly."
I was behind you. It was messy.
Oh, you saw that too, then?
Oh yeah, yeah. That
was
that was probably the worst visibility I've seen on track. It was ugly.
Yeah, I couldn't see anything when I drove through the cloud. I knew they weren't there, and it was going to be okay, but it was completely obscured.
All right. Well, this brings us to the fan favorite Audra section of the podcast, where we talk about black flags. Who got what?
She self-reported.
She did self-report. Audra, you got one.
No, there was only one black flag.
Only one?
Really? Everything else was a self-report.
That's still a black flag, Audra.
Okay, so I had 2, but self-report. I only put one wheel off, but I self-reported because we had already had some stuff, and Bill had a puzzle made from our picture from Pit Race, and we gave it to the judges to use as a penalty, and I didn't want to get that as a penalty because
It was funny though.
How many pieces?
Maybe we could do it really fast because it's us. That's my head.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Did you keep all the black flags to yourself this week, Audra? Did you share any with the friends, or?
No, so I had that, and I had the getting in the way of that person having their agricultural adventure. So they took me with them. Max had the pleasure of the other 2.
Yeah, and they were all on Saturday. So Saturday we were pretty dirty. Sunday we were clean though.
What happened to you, Max? Two
Apparently,
black
Max
flags?
gets it on one side of the car, and I always get it on the other side of the car.
Yeah.
So
On the first one on Saturday was coming, so up the hill to turn 4.
Mhm.
So there's a yellow flag. Okay. Go around, everything's cool. Come back around, yellow's still there. However, myself included in this massive group, sort of like forgot that maybe the yellow would still be there. So there was like this gigantic pileup in the middle of the track. Like people were hitting each other, people were going in different directions. And I ended up, getting to the point where I realized I wasn't going to be able to stop before hitting the massive pack. So I decided to drive off onto the grass to not hit other cars. And then someone behind me did the same thing and then drove into me.
Oh,
So that was one, and but it was still the best move to do, because otherwise it would have been really bad. So that was one, and the other one was I had been passed by and passed this other car, and we were going back and forth for a few laps, and it was getting kind of intense, and we were coming up on a slower car coming up on the turn 3 chicane, and I was able to get around them, just like barely. And then they went back to try to get around me again, and we kind of just bumped, our left side to their right side. So then, came in, self-reported, got sent right back out. No big deal, but that was mine.
Anybody else? Are we going for a record this weekend? All
no,
clean?
that was it. I mean, Audra definitely got hit the hardest. And we had to spend a little bit of time Saturday night kind of like bending things a little bit so we could get the hood off and on without like a sledgehammer. But it worked out. And then I bent it back the other night more, like with a floor jack and some wood braced against a lift, and so now it's back up to
Max Mayo standards.
yeah, we can open it now, and it's good. So the hood is openable and closable.
Yeah.
Awesome. All
Back
right.
to factory spec.
Yeah.
Close.
Yeah, within a quarter inch.
It'll buff out. It'll buff out. It'll be fine.
Yeah, no, it's
character.
We have a lot of character, and especially from this last race, we've added quite a bit.
It's
And that car is really tough, and ask us how we know.
oh.
There is that. All right. Plans for slippery slope next race?
yeah, Thompson.
Thompson, yeah.
You guys are gonna make it to Thompson. That's awesome.
I'm so excited. This year I'm living half an hour away from Thompson, so I don't have to experience those terrible showers.
This is true.
Yes.
The highlight of my race.
You are not lying.
You may have guests. There's the ladies may be joining you, I'm thinking.
I'm telling you, I think we have a trailer for reserve, and I am going to tell them that we are going to be using the shower in the trailer. Tips and tails. That's all you get. That's all you get in it. Fast showers. Bring extra water. Might even buy we should do that.
Anyway, we will.
Okay.
I got a plan for you.
Okay.
Laura, Doug, are we going to see you again? Are you coming back for more hilarity? Going to bite into this apple a little bit more?
We'd like to, yeah. Yummy apple.
Yummy
I think they were
apple.
ready to come back again halfway into Saturday.
That's awesome.
That's tremendous. I'm liking that. Awesome. Did we miss anything, my dear?
I think we got it.
All right, very well. Well, I would like to welcome 2 new racers into the fold, and you guys, as always, do great, and always a pleasure paddocking with you guys, and can't wait till we do some more. We need to do some non-lemonsy stuff too, though.
That's right. That's right.
Might even do an autocross or something.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
One more year. We
I've
got
got an
one
extra-
more year.
I've got an extra 40, 45 seconds. I should be able to,
Yeah, that's all it takes.
Wait, isn't it 4 more years?
Yeah, 4 more years. That's
That's
right.
Just yeah, our freedom goes up in the year. Our daughter will be graduating and going to college, and then we will be
Oh,
Yeah.
able to roll. So,
Got it.
didn't get
We
the
will be able to
reference.
do midweek rolls.
mhm.
Oh, exciting.
Indeed. Well,
Thank
thanks
you for
everybody
having us on. This was
Yeah.
very fun.
Yes,
Mhm.
thank
I'm
you for
glad
having
you
us.
I'm really glad that you had a very positive first experience.
Mhm.
Thank you.
So you look like you were having a ball.
It was like nothing else we've ever done. It is so much fun.
All right. Well, in spite of saying nice things about Jeremy on this podcast, I guess we're gonna have to come to an end. That really hurt to say, but okay, that's fine. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Very cool. What were we supposed to talk about after? There was something.
Was it pitting?
Oh, pitting. Yeah.
Yeah, how to do it with 2 people?
Well, 3 is actually the best.
Right.
Yeah.
So things I know that you don't do. The fueler usually will, if you're trying to do a pit really fast, the fueler will usually go over there and hook their elbows underneath the driver getting out and rip them out of the
Mhm.
car.
Oh,
Fast. Just grab them and get them out.
Just deal with it. Be
Mhm.
be
Wow.
prepared.
Yeah, just
All
make
of a
sure
sudden
you
you get real
make-
light
make sure you undo
Okay.
your helmet.
in the radio. Yep.
Yeah, radio.
Sounds like
But I think it'd be really comical for me to be ripping Bill out of the driver.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
You're coming with me.
Yeah.
Couple
So-
more times, he'll enjoy it. He'll look
our-
forward to it, Audra.
In our pit, we do 3. And the driver will immediately hop out and hold the fire extinguisher. They're tired, so you don't want them to do all the work. The driver that is going in should probably be handing the gas cans over because their gloves can be clean.
Right.
And the extra
Or they
person
flip with
that's
the driver.
Right.
The driver and the fire. The driver can do
Right.
either fire or put the
Right.
jug on the wall.
right, and the
But you don't want them
person
doing fuel.
you don't want them doing fuel because they're with their driving gloves, and you have driving gloves and fuel gloves. So, and at that point, it's just, as soon as it's done, it's boom, 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 fast moving, like fast feet.
But you gotta go back even further. When the incoming driver, and it's especially important if the incoming driver is smaller than the person coming in
Mm-hmm.
to the car, you want to pop the belts when you're on pit lane and stretch them out. And ideally,
Listen, you're not
put
allowed to
them-
do that.
I know. And ideally, you put them over the shoulders so that you don't have to go fishing. Or
Mhm.
the other way to do it is if you don't want to do it and you want to do things technically right, you put surgical tubing on all 5 of the belts so that when you do the twist, they just like a octopus or
Right.
the alien.
Now, the other thing too on our belts is that we have colored electrical tape
Mhm.
on the receiving end and the end that has to go in, because sometimes you're like,
muzzle.
oh, what belt do I have and what hole am I putting it in? Well, they're color coded now. Boom, 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 boom.
I actually like that. Yeah.
So you're not fussing at the last, because
Yeah.
the four turns, sometimes you're just like, you miss those 2 on
And
the
you gotta
the
start
crotch
over.
on the lap piece. So that's how we started doing it.
I think this time it was like the right thing to do was to have everybody involved. And I'm glad that we had rules for everybody, and Larry plotted that out really, really well. But if we want to do it really quickly, I think we should reduce in the ways that you just gave us.
Mhm.
And then
kind of how we did it at Thompson
Yeah.
when it was just
3 of us.
It was 3.
Yeah.
right.
Drive
And
for
then,
For
3.
that race, we
And Larry,
it's just
yeah.
the 4 of us were there.
and
Yeah.
then to get the driver secure, you want your smaller person go in the passenger side to do that side of the driver, and the larger person to do the driver's side, and then get
Mhm.
everybody tight and tight, and then rock and roll, because the smaller person can get in and out and reach better from the driver's passenger side.
Yeah, and this time around we used drink bladders
Mhm.
because we knew we were going to have much longer stints, which I didn't like the tips on them because I couldn't get them in the helmet very well. So that might have to be an adjustment. But we had a cooler pack, kind of like behind the seat, but between the seat and the door on the roll cage. And it was it was insulated. So we had these bladders that were pre-made for everybody in the cooler with some ice, and we'd run out and we'd just pull one, put the other one in. And then I had a zip tie that was on the roll bar. So you had a place to hold it. So you didn't have to go fishing for it too much. It had the tip of it. That's the one thing we used this time around. And I thought it worked pretty good for the long stints.
And Thompson's going to be hot, so
Thompson's going to be brutal. We got to start now thinking about Thompson because Thompson's going to be awful. It's either a deluge or it's an armpit. It's one or the other. It's never.
Sometimes both.
Actually, last year was not bad at all. You guys weren't there last year.
No.
Coming this year though,
We
right?
even got chilly at night. Like I was cold.
Wow.
Yeah, we heard we missed the one time only that.
Yeah, the year before I was overly dehydrated, and I was really kind of hard getting around. It was really, really terrible. Of course, then there was the one year that was there that the deluge was so bad of weather and rain that I saw one guy out there in his bathing suit taking a shower with a bar of soap in the rain. I am not, and I think it was a Lementarians. I think it was yeah.
It's always the Lementarians.
Hilarious.
Yeah, but he was just out there just showering it up. He says, "I'm not going in those showers."
All those showers.
So
they're so rapey. They're so gross.
They really are.
We have a
Oh,
team policy. You get an escort whenever you go to the shower, so don't.
Yeah,
Nobody goes alone.
that's right.
So.
Well, this was wonderful. I really enjoyed meeting you guys. And I really hope we come across you again. And if you decide that this is something you want to do, look to us, for help or assistance. And, we can help ambassador you, walk you through, help prepare cars. I mean, you got Max on this end too.
Audra and Max and Bill know their junk now. They're getting there. They're
Yeah.
not newbies.
Thank you.
So much. We felt so welcome and supported, and it was awesome. And I'm super appreciative of you just kind of reaching out and saying, hey, whatever question you have, come ask me. And I just want you to know, it's not that I didn't want to ask you I didn't want your help. It's like, there was so much going on. I didn't even know where to begin to ask. But I was so appreciative of you just seeking me out and just talking to me and being like, how'd it go? What happened? Just, tell me what's going on. So it was a huge help.
And we were not prepared this race because usually we have a big track map and we have lots of time and lots of, it was kind of a bit of a shit show on our end. So anytime we can help, just let us know.
And we had we had visitors on top of it. So it kind of cramped up our social time.
Yeah.
But it's fine. It's all fine.
Cool. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Take care.
If you guys want, I have a suggestion for a theme.